All right, guys, so today we're doing an Indian recipe. We've never done this before, and so we took a little bit to source the ingredients, I would say.
Yeah.
We're doing butter chicken curry, and we have a long list of stuff here. We're going to do this in two steps. One is to marinate the chicken to start with, and then we're going to go to the sauce, or the curry part of it, I would say. So we have a little over a pound of chicken. We have it cut up to where it's thinner strips, so it's going to cook even. We have, and this is going to feed about 4 to 5 people with rice, obviously. We have 1 tablespoon of the ginger paste, which is over here. It says paste. You could use paste or powder.
We use powder.
We got
didn't
powder.
Have paste.
Yep.
Available to us.
We have 1 tablespoon of red chili powder.
Yep.
About a tablespoon of salt. Salt will be to your taste, of course, but that's a good starting point. We have, let me see here. This is our
Garam.
masala.
Masala.
Yep, masala. We'll put a list of the ingredients in the description. We have a little bit of sugar. We have this really nice, this is a mild chili powder. This is kashmiri chili powder. You could actually get this on Amazon. Most of this stuff you get on Amazon. I'll put links in the description for all this. If not locally, it's a little bit difficult to source, especially where we're at. Here we have our kasoori methi, which is like a dried leaf. And these spices have a very nice aroma to them. I'm very excited to cook with this. You'll need a little bit of malt vinegar. We have a little bit of oil, in this case olive oil. We have a little bit of butter, a little bit of margarine. You could use butter, you could use vegan butter, you could use whatever you want. You could also don't have to use chicken. You could use whatever you want in this. The original recipe is for chicken, so that's what we use. We're gonna have a little bit of cashews. We'll add to it.
Heavy whipping cream.
Yep.
And some vine ripe tomatoes.
We have about a pound of these, maybe just a hair over a pound of vine ripe tomatoes. That is pretty much going to be it. It's not a difficult recipe. It's just a lot of correct timing. So let's get our cooktop out. Let's go ahead and cook the chicken. And before we do that, though, we're going to make the marinade. So we have 3 ingredients here for the marinade. One is our ginger powder. We're going to shuffle that in here just a little bit. Next is our actual regular chili powder. There you go. McCormick stuff here. You can use whatever brand you want. It's a pretty fair amount of that, boys. And we have our salt. And then we're just gonna take a spoon. We're going to mix it all up. And like I said, this will sit for about 15 minutes and marinate. And then we're gonna get the skillet out and we're going to fry this, but not over fry it. So we're gonna go with a little bit of oil. By a little bit, I mean a little bit. And then we're going to, I think that's enough.
Yep.
Put the chicken in. We're gonna try to separate it out as we're putting it in. Been marinating for a little while, a lot more than 15 minutes because we had a little bit of a situation. This is all cut up into equally sized pieces. It smells good. Now as we're cooking it here, and that's Amanda over there.
Yeah.
Well, I could already smell, as soon as it started getting hot, the smells come out of that. You can really start to smell it. So we're gonna cook this, we're gonna brown this, we'll be right back. We're gonna transfer this into a clean bowl. We'll come back and we're gonna make the sauce. We're pretty much done here. I'm not going to cook it real long. These were chicken thighs. Now it depends on your chicken breast, if you have chicken thighs, what you're cooking. But just cutting it in half and taking a look at it, looks like it's pretty much good to go.
It smells really good.
Yeah, it has like a, the spice is a little bit different from usually, so it is a little bit different spice to it. We're going to take this out. We're going to put this in a bowl here, and we're going to keep all the liquid in the pan. And then we're going to make the sauce back in the same pan. So it's a one pan dish minus a few bowls and utensils and this and that. And then scoop the rest of this. I always use chicken thighs on recipes. It seems like it's just so much better, and chicken breast is just such a dry meat. You gotta be real careful or you overcook it and it'll be just like eating.
I've noticed a lot of the low carb, like keto things, use chicken thighs too.
Right. So there's that. Let's go ahead and start this. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back on the heat. We're gonna dump the tomatoes in. If you wanna hold that for a second, I'll dump that in.
So the actual recipe calls for, now you would take an onion and saute it with butter in there.
If you want onion, this would be the time to put in it. The original recipe calls for 100 grams of onion, which is not that much. It's a tiny whole onion or half of a medium onion. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this in here. So what we're gonna do at this point is we're going to steam these down. So we'll put this back on for a second. Okay, so we're gonna start in with a tablespoon of butter. It's only cooking just about a minute. We're just shuffling all our ingredients here.
Okay.
All right, start with that. We have, to start off with, we have sugar, about a tablespoon. We have a little bit of salt, salt to your taste. So after this is all done, you can tell what you want. This is our special chili powder here, kasoori. That's probably totally wrong. Chili powder anyhow. We're gonna go ahead and dust this in here. Our masala. And then after that, we're gonna put a splash. It's about a tablespoon of malt vinegar. Let's say maybe getting pretty close. What do you think?
Yeah.
About that much. We're gonna go ahead and do some of our cashews. Sprinkled in, maybe a couple more.
However many you like.
Yep. And then at this point in time, we're gonna stir it and essentially get the butter down there. Stir all the spices in. Now, we're gonna turn this down to more of a simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. That's gonna break down all these tomatoes. You can see it's already kind of all taken form together. It actually looks really nice. Put our spoon back over there. We'll be back in 15 or 20 minutes. Also almost forgot, we have some water we're gonna put in it. Almost did a fatal mistake there. And that's gonna give it a little more liquid. So we're gonna cook it, we're gonna come back, like I said, 15 minutes. Okay, so we cooked it with the lid on it. We're gonna shake some water off the lid. I'll put that right over here out of the way. And then essentially what we're gonna do is get this. You wanna cook this, like I said, it's been a little over 15 minutes. Everything's nice and soft. All the tomatoes are soft, everything's good to go. We're gonna pick this up, we're gonna pour this in this bowl. Rake all that out of there. Set that over there on the one that's off. And essentially what we're gonna do at this point is we're going to take our blender, our hand blender. We're gonna blend this up until it's a very nice, smooth consistency. And then we're gonna take our strainer and we're gonna strain it. All right, so we're pretty much got the right consistency. As you can see here, I don't see any chunks in it. It's very nice and smooth. Let's go ahead and put the chicken back in the pot. And we're gonna use this bowl to strain this in. And we're going to pour,
Carefully.
that stuff is so hot. Be very careful with this.
And we're just gonna run it through the strainer to get all the, make sure we get the seeds and stuff out of there.
Now remember, these are not peeled tomatoes either, so we're gonna get any kind of chunks out of it essentially. That's pretty much all. You can see here, this is what's left. There's gonna be some cashew stuff. It's gonna be our tomato skins. And just a little bit.
Here, I'm gonna set it,
I'm gonna rake all this stuff off the outside of this because that's all this liquid that's hanging on. And we're gonna get it all over the table. There we go. And then we'll use this to add this back in. So let's turn our deal back on here. A little heat in our chicken. It's cooled off a little bit. We're gonna add this back in like so. Stir this up. We're gonna let this simmer for 5 to 7 minutes, something like that. And mix it all up really good. And before it simmers, we're going to take our butter and take about a tablespoon, probably about like that. And this was going to make it the butter chicken, right? We're going to take our little can of cream. We're going to put a little, not too much, about like that. Keep this handy because we're going to use it when we dish it up. And then our Methi, as you call it. And that's about a tablespoon of that. Now we're going to go ahead and mix all that up. That butter will melt in there. We have it all turned down here. We're down to number 3. We're just gonna try to get to a simmer. Turn it for a second until we start seeing bubbles. Put the lid back on it. And like I said, 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so we have some basmati, I believe that's how you pronounce it, rice. We're gonna put a little bit on there, like so. We have some saffron rice. We're gonna put a little bit on there, like so. And we're gonna go over back to the table. So we have, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and plate a little bit up here. And then at the very end, we're going to dangerously trickle just a little bit of this on there. Don't want to do too much. And then a little bit of the kasoori methi on there. I just went everywhere. It's showtime. We have our 2 different kinds of rice here. Let's go ahead and try to, I'm just gonna go in here gently at first. The chicken cuts really nice and fine. Try a little bit of this by itself first.
right. Got a big piece.
The chicken's so tender, it almost falls apart in your mouth.
Great flavor.
I don't get any heat right now at all. And now at
Just
the
a little.
very end, you get a little bit. I'm gonna rake a little bit of rice into that.
I think the rice, you know, will help cut down the heat maybe.
Mellow it out.
It's very good. Like, I like the texture of it.
If you never had this, it has a taste like no other. You can taste the ginger in it. You can taste the sweetness of that chili powder with a little bit of heat at the end. That kasoori chili powder is almost like a hint of cinnamon to it.
Right. It's
I would say.
It's kind of like sweet and spicy at the same time, a little bit. But
Right. So, what would you rank this 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst.
I'd say it's up there like a 9.5.
It really turned out really good.
But yeah, it's very good.
I want to add a side note. I did get the mild kasoori chili powder. Most of that stuff was hot and medium. All the heats, it's like a Thai chili. At the very end, it has some heat.
I think it's just so unique that it just like everything, like the puree, tomato puree, like that tastes perfect.
Unless you went to an Indian restaurant, you're not going to get this flavor anywhere else.
Definitely tastes like something you would be served in a restaurant. I mean, it's that good. Or that unique, I should say. Definitely a restaurant.
That's pretty much going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. It really is an awesome recipe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments what you think. Also, let us know what you want us to make in the future. With the cooking videos, we're unlimited. There's no limit. It's just wide open. There's a lot larger audience on it. And any of you guys can make this. So that's it. See you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.
Friday for another MRE.
Yep.
All right.